Hey guys, it's Danny. Alrighty, today we're gonna make a requested updates on some orchids that for the past month you guys requested to see again. So I took your request, made a little list, and I'm just gonna grab the orchids, put them on the filming table, and we'll take a look at them, see how they're doing, and how they evolved from the last time you saw them. Alrighty, so first of all, one of you guys wanted to see the Brassavolas, and well, I have quite a few of them, including some hybrids just because I like Brassavola so much, so I'm just gonna show you the pure, let's say, Brassavolas, although I'm pretty sure some of them might have already been reclassified as something else, and then I'm gonna show you a few of the hybrids. And these are the three that I have which still bear the name of Brassavola. We have the Brassavola Little Stars. If you remember, this one used to be mounted, and when I moved here I unmounted it, potted in a pot, and ever since then she really bounced back really nice. These orchids are not really finicky orchids. They might have slow growth, yes, but eventually they do tend to bounce back without any further drama. So the Brassavola Little Stars is doing quite well potted. She still is not potted in a plastic pot because I don't have a big pot just yet, but I think hopefully this week I'll have the new pots. And at the moment, all of the Brassavolas are pretty much in growth mode. They tend to start new growths in the springtime, mature it somewhere in the summer, and then they can bloom at the end of summer or somewhere in the autumn for me. Although the Little Stars can bloom in December as well. So right now the Little Stars is growing her new growth, as you can see. She appears to be well rooted in this pot. I don't think I'm lacking roots. Overall, I never actually had issues with this Brassavola. She always did quite well. Next to it, we have the Brassavola nodosa that I purchased, 4 years ago, I think, from Malaysia. And ever since then, it didn't really evolve all that much. Because she's a strong plant, she didn't die, obviously, but never really evolved. Part of it was my fault, part of it was because she wasn't mature enough. But this year, as we can see, it is producing the biggest growth I've ever seen on this orchid. I always tended to believe the nodosas are tinier. They might be tinier than the Little Stars, yes, but they're not all that tiny. Mine just didn't grow well. You can see here one of the pseudobulbs of the past. Really tiny. But this year we're picking up growth, and actually this happened ever since I switched it to the plastic pot. It does seem to be better suited for my environment, and ever since I came up with the pebble layer and I don't have layering anymore, everything pretty much grows great with everybody. So hopefully we'll see a bloom from this one. It never bloomed for me, 4 years. That's a fail. And in the back here we have the Brassavola Jiminy Cricket. Oh, I so wish to see this one in bloom soon, but yet again, I did some mistakes with this one. I tried to keep it mounted at some point. It didn't work out so great. I really couldn't keep up with her water demands. Then I potted it, but then we had to move here and she didn't have medium. All of the stress of last year took a toll on it, but she did manage to create this pseudobulb, which is not that dramatically tiny. She does have nice roots, and this year she is working on a pseudobulb and a leaf, which I already see will be a little grander than this one. So fingers crossed she will bloom soon. She has amazing blooms, this one. So far so good. It is actually responding well with the change in pots. Yet again, it would appear that the clay pots I had were a little bit too drying, especially with the combination of clay that I'm using. It kind of started well, I have to say, but then it went very bad because the orchids started to create a lot of roots and their water demands were greater. And I discovered I couldn't keep up with those demands, so things are better in the plastic pot. As for my other Brassavola crosses, these are pretty recent actually. They didn't have time to do much, but of course they are in full growth mode right now. They are producing a nice root system. And about blooming this year, I'm not entirely sure. Some of these didn't have a great root system to begin with, but they are pretty healthy and strong plants. And this one that you see right now is a Brassavola nodosa crossed with an orange type of Cattleya. This is a recent purchase actually, and I do have another one, which is here. This is the BC Yellow Bird that I purchased recently, and she is growing quite well. She has about 2 new growths per each direction of growth, and she does have quite a lot of directions of growth. I did hear from you guys that this orchid tends to become bushy in no time. Just how I like them, so I'm really happy with this one. This one, I got it last year from one of you lovely people. You sent me a division from your orchid. This is a Brassavola nodosa crossed with Laelia purpurata variety Carnea. I'm extremely excited about this one. She wasn't in good condition when I received it, but last year she created that growth, then this growth, and now she's working on that, which I presume will be pretty similar in size with these ones. So I don't know if she will bloom. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed. but with the Brassavolas at least, things are going great, you guys. I think the secret with the Brassavolas is actually to have patience. They do grow pretty slow, in the sense that they do tend to create one pseudobulb per year, maybe two in some cases, but they also have the tendency to bush out pretty fast if they're strong enough, if they're mature enough, and of course when they bloom, when you have a big one and it blooms, all that beautifulness plus the fragrance, I think it makes everything worth it. It's just that most Brassavolas don't grow all that fast. Next up, one of you guys wanted to see the Brassavola nodosa, and you posted the comment on my latest greenhouse tour, I think. I'm not sure. I did feature it in that video, but I didn't take it out from the IKEA stand. And yeah, I don't think you saw it properly. This is one of those orchids that, surprisingly enough, was not all that set back after the experience of last year, and I'm so incredibly happy with her evolution. So I got this one about 3 years ago, and it was around this height. She has two directions of growth, as you can see, this one, and this was actually a pretty tiny direction. You can see here, I think this was the first pseudobulb. It was pretty tiny. Ever since then, she did create bigger and bigger growths, minus the initial setback when I purchased it and I repotted it. But this year, she produced such a nice pseudobulb here, and also one over here on that very tiny direction of growth. Sad thing is it didn't bloom. I don't know why, but anyway, next pseudobulb, really hope she will bloom. Now, this is not a tiny Cattleya. This can grow quite large, and also she has the tendency to produce cluster blooms at the top. So this size right here, this was really tiny. This is closer to how she should look like when she will be able to bloom, and it will be the first bloom of this orchid. I purchased it as a younger plant, but she is really doing great. I have a rogue root right here that grew outside of the pot, and I'm just letting it be. It looks kind of funny, grows kind of wild. She had another one here, but I messed up the tip, as you can see. And with this one, I am trying to take care of it, not to break it. Other than that though, she's a wonderful Cattleya. Really easy to care for species. It's just that she is quite big. It will grow incredibly tall when she reaches full capacity. Alrighty, next orchid you wanted to see, surprise, the vanilla orchid. I think you just want to see when it reaches the top. Well, she did it, she reached the top. And now will come the fun part. I will have to do something with this growth. I'm thinking I'm just gonna try to move it to the other side. On this side, I'm just noticing now the tip on this one, are you in frame? I'm not sure. The tip on that branch dried up. I have no idea why actually, but yeah, there we go. Sadly it did dry up, but we have a main bleed right here, which is doing quite fine, and this is the main cutting, or the first cutting to take off. As you can see, she reached the top. So yeah, I will try to make it go on the other side, see how it does, but I would say she had quite a nice growth. I think right now it's about 1 year since I received the cuttings, and I'll link it down below to the initial video so you see how they used to look like. I initially received, if I'm not mistaken, 3 cuttings, and one of them died off, but luckily 2 of them survived, and yeah, they will become little monsters. Next up, the Hoya Calicina, Habib, there she is. She made it. She's growing her leaves once again. She's not dehydrated anymore. So indeed it worked. All I did was snap the stem, added some growth hormone, put it back in the ground, and she probably produced roots because she's getting hydrated and everything goes really well now. And since we're on the subject of Hoyas, the Hoyas are actually doing really nice. They continuously bloom, but they produce so much mess. When they lose their blooms, all of this shelf here gets so dirty. I just need to clean all the time, but they're well worth it, of course. And a little update on the outside plants because you wanted to see them too. This is my Plumeria. She is growing really well after I repotted it. She's producing quite a lot of leaves, no inflorescences just yet. Who knows, we'll see. And then you wanted to see the Cacti Seedlings. I need to remove them from this tray. They're growing and they are super crowded. So yeah, I will need to find a way to pot them separately somewhere and pretty much start to give them away because there are so many of them here. Also the hibiscus, this is one of them, the pink one that I received. I didn't receive it, I took it as a cutting. It was really tiny last year, and behold, it was actually in bloom yesterday, and I didn't think to film it yesterday, sorry about that, but I will film it when it's in bloom. He has really nice flowers, quite unique. The hibiscus are doing pretty okay, but I have to say I think I will separate them. I think they're kind of competing with each other, or at least this is the vibe I'm getting. They started to bloom, they started to grow and branch and everything and all of that, but if you can see in this pot, one of them died. I'm not entirely sure why. The other two in the pot are doing quite okay, but yeah, I have a funny feeling they're a little bit too crowded and they're competing with each other a little bit too much, so they will probably be separated. Also, let's take a look at my petunias. They started to bloom. This is supposed to be the star variety. Yeah, it might look like a star. This one, on the other hand, I'm not sure what's going on with this one. So they have a few flowers here and there. This is the Petunia Nana. Really pretty colors. This one is white, but that's about it. I did pot them pretty late in the season just because I had the urge to grow some petunias pretty late, but next year I'll start earlier than this. Also, I have some issues with grasshoppers. Look at that. I'm not sure how to control grasshoppers, you guys. They're baby grasshoppers actually, and I guess I could use an insecticide, but at the same time I don't wanna. I do have some praying mantises as well around here, and actually baby praying mantises, and they're so hard to spot. They might be around here, so I don't want to use insecticides. That's that. I'm gonna have a few leaves eaten off, but that's okay. And that's about it for today. Thank you so much for requesting these updates. And of course, if you want to see other orchids you didn't see in a long time, just leave me a comment down below. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to watch more orchid and plants videos from me, there's only one way to do so. Not really. But anyway, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. And with that said, I'll see you all next time. Bye! Speaking about orchids we didn't see in a long time, here's the Osmoglossum pulchellum, which is now reclassified. He's spiking. He has 2 flower spikes and a rotting pseudobulb that I need to remove back there. I have to say he didn't do all that horrible, surprisingly enough. This is rather of a cool grower, also he likes to stay moist, so I'm a little bit shocked that he managed to do this well. It's not very well, it's mediocre, but he managed to pull through like this with all those conditions, and furthermore create some flower spikes. Anyway, I'm happy, but I seriously need to provide a better life for this guy.